Today we are going to start civics, and our first chapter is the Indian Constitution and the secularism. Here we will discuss about the secularism in the context of Indian Constitution. What we will discuss? We will discuss mainly the secularism and in which context? In the context of constitution, in Indian Constitution. So it is very necessary first that we should understand what is constitution. To understand the things properly, it is important that we should discuss what is constitution. It is a set of fundamental principles and rules according to which the government of a country is called a constitution. Actually, this is the definition of constitution: the set of rules according to which a government run the government work. We can say these are the guidelines for the government to run a country. Now this is the time to discuss about the Indian Constitution. This is the definition of the constitution, and now we will discuss about Indian Constitution. It is a supreme law of India. The Indian Constitution, it is a supreme law. No other law is above than that, and it was adopted by the Indian Constituent Assembly on 26 November in 1949 and came into force on 26 January 1950. Actually, our constitution was completed on 26th of November. On which date? It was completed on 26th of November. That is why it was adopted on the same date. It was adopted on the same date, and we celebrate 26th of November as the Indian Constitution Day. And when it came into force, however, it was completed on 26th of November, but it came into force on 26th of January in 1950. After 2 months of its completion, it was forced on. Now it is clear that it was completed, it was adopted on 26th of November, and it came into force on 26 January of 1950. We also celebrate 26 January as our Republic Day, and 26 November we celebrated as Constitution Day. Constituent Assembly, it was a group of 289 people who worked to set rules according to which India can work in a democratic way. What was the function of our Constituent Assembly? Constituent Assembly, actually first we will discuss what was the Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly was a group of people. It was an assembly of some peoples, and for what they were adopted? They were appointed to set rules. Which rules? According to which India can work, and in which way India should work? In a democratic way. India should work in a democratic way. That is why Constituent Assembly was formed, and Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, he is known as the father and the architect of Indian Constitution. Sometimes this question is that who is known as the architect of Indian Constitution and who is known as the father of Indian Constitution. So it is it is necessary to remember here that Bhimrao Ambedkar, he is known as the father and the architect of Indian Constitution. And when was it adopted? It adopted on 26th of November, and it came into force on 26 January 1950. Sorry. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar as the father, he is the father of Indian Constitution because he played the main role The Constitution of India begins. What are the starting word of our Constitution? The starting word of our Constitution are, our Constitution begins with the word we, the people of India. These are the very starting word, and now it has 448 articles, 25 parts are there, and it has 12 schedules. But when it was adopted, how many articles were there? There were only 395 articles and 22 parts. Parts, how many parts? They were 22. 22 parts were there, and how many schedules were there? There were only 8 schedules. When it was adopted, it was adopted on 26th of January, and at that time it was having 395 articles, 22 parts, and 8 schedules were there. But how many schedules and parts it has today? Now it has 448 articles, 25 parts, and 12 schedules. Now, what is preamble? Preamble is an introduction to the Constitution. What is preamble? It is an introduction of the Constitution. It tells us about the nature of our Constitution, or any Constitution. Every Constitution has preamble. These are the starting words and the preamble of our Constitution. It is known as an introduction, and it is also known as the soul of Indian Constitution. What is known? The preamble is known as the soul of it is known as the soul of Indian Constitution. The preamble declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic country. Actually, as we all know that what is preamble? Preamble is an introduction. It is an introduction to the Constitution, and it is also known as the soul of Indian Constitution. What it declares? It declares that India should be, which type of country India should be? India should be a sovereign, socialist, not should be, India will be a, which type of country India would be? Sovereign, socialist, secular, and a democratic country. Now we again will discuss about these things. What is sovereign, what is socialist, what is secular, and what does the word democratic means. We will also discuss about it. Now I think it is clear to all of you what is preamble. Preamble is an introduction to the Indian Constitution, because it is also known as the soul of Indian Constitution. And what our preamble declares? Our preamble declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, and a democratic country. Social, as we discuss here about the preamble declares it is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic. Now we will discuss about what is socialist and secular. Socialist and secular words, they were added to the preamble by the 42nd amendments, and it was enacted in 1976. Socialist and secular. Socialist means socialist and secular, these were the two words which were not previously added in our preamble. These were not the part of our preamble when it was adopted. When our Constitution was adopted, these two words were not the part of our in the preamble of Indian Constitution. But when they were adopted in 1976. And in which amendment? In 42nd amendment. What is an amendment? Now sometimes this question arises, what is an amendment? Amendment is the process of changing something in the Constitution. Any change which took place in Indian Constitution, it is known as amendment. Sovereign means, as we discussed, that India declares India to be a sovereign. Sovereign means independent or supreme. The word sovereign means that India will be independent and it will be supreme. No other power will be above than India. It is independent. Earlier they were there was the rule of British rule were there, as we studied in our history portion, that British came to India as a trader, and after that they settled here as a ruler. And when India got freedom in 1947. On which date? On 15th of August. And after that our constitution declared that India will be sovereign, and sovereign means independent or supreme. Socialist stands to secure social, economic justice and equality of opportunity for all citizens. Socialist means that it will aim to secure, what to secure? Social, economic justice and equality of opportunity for all the citizens. Secular means, actually our topic name is that the Indian constitution and secularism. So it is very necessary to understand what is secularism. Secularism means to give respect to all religion. As we know that India is a land of different religion, different people of different religion. They live here, they practice their religion, and they adopt, they follow, they propagate. Many religions are there and they all are free to adopt any religion, and it is our duty that we should respect to other religions. Suppose we are Hindu, Muslim or Sikh, Isai, anything we are to which particular religion we are belonging, that it doesn't mean that we should respect our own religion. We should respect other religion as well as we respect our religion. There is no discrimination. We should move forward. Secularism give respect to all religions. There is no discrimination. On which basis? On the basis of religion. No discrimination will be on the basis of religion. Every citizen is free to practice, to propagate and to follow her own religion. Secularism, I think you all are able to understand. Secular means that we should give respect to all religion and there is no discrimination. Neither government nor the people, they will not discriminate anybody. On which basis? On the basis of religion. Because every citizen in India, he is free to practice. He can practice his religion. He can or she can propagate, and they are free to follow their own religion. On religion, to the religion to which they are belonging. And democratic, it refers to universal adult suffrage. What is universal adult suffrage? It means the right to vote. Universal adult suffrage means the people who become adults, they are having the right that they can vote. For what they can vote? They can vote to choose their government. Actually, I think you all know about what is democracy. Democracy is a type of government which is of the people, for the people and by the people. And in democratic country, every citizen who has completed his age, earlier it was of 21, but now it has been reduced and it is now 18 years. The person who has completed 18 years of age, he or she has the right to choose their own government. What is republic? As we discussed, which type of country it should be? It should be democratic country and republic also. The republic, it is a form of government which has an elected head, of the state instead of hereditary head. Republic means that government will have an elected head. Elected head means that the head should be elected, but and it should not be hereditary. Hereditary नहीं होगा, it should be an elected head. The republic government means that the head should be an elected and he will not be this post will not be hereditary. What are the key features of our Indian constitution? Key features, what are the important qualities of our Indian constitution? It is a written constitution. These are the qualities to which we are discussing now. It is a written constitution. It is partly rigid and partly flexible. It is neither so rigid and neither it is so flexible. The federal in structure but unitary in spirit. In structure, if we discuss about structure, which type of government is here? It is federal, it is separated, but the spirit is unitary. Parliamentary form of government. Which type of government our constitution provide? It provide parliamentary form of government, and parliamentary form of government, as we discuss in republic, it has an elected head, but who is the supreme power? The supreme power lies in the constitution and in the prime minister. Separation of power. The power has been divided between the legislature, the executives, and the judiciary. The power has been separated, it had been divided into three: legislature, executive, and in the judiciary. And which type of judiciary our constitution provided? It provided independent judiciary. Our judiciary is independent. It doesn't work under any influence. Directive principle of state policy. For the state policy, which principles are there? Directive principles are there. Directive principle has been described in our constitution, and they are starting from, in which article they are? They are in article number 40. Fundamental rights are also provided. Fundamental rights are some rights which has been provided to us: right to equality, right to liberty, right to freedom of religion, right to cultural and educational right, right against exploitation, and right to constitutional remedies. First we have to move. Fundamental rights. Right to equality, right to liberty. What is equality? That every person it is the right of every person that he should enjoy equality and liberty. As we discuss in history, that equality and liberty, these are the important feature of a democratic government. What are the important feature of a democratic government? That people should enjoy equality and liberty. Then our constitution, it has also provided us right to equality and right to liberty, right to freedom of religion. As we discuss in secularism, that every person has right that they can propagate, they can follow, they can practice their own religion. Then they have the right freedom of religion. Right to cultural and educational right. If something is belonging to our culture, then it is also our fundamental right that we can follow that. And to get education, it is also a fundamental right. And after that, our government has also, in 82nd amendment, our government has also made it clear that the student between 6 to 14 years of age, how many? 6 to 14 years of age, they are having right to get education. Right against exploitation. If you are facing any exploitation, someone is exploiting you, on which basis? On the basis of caste, on the basis of religion, on the basis of you are being discriminated on the basis of caste. Someone is exploiting you on the basis of caste, on the basis of your religion. If someone is exploiting you, then it is your fundamental right that you can enjoy. For that, you can go against, not enjoy, you can go against exploitation, because it is our fundamental right to constitutional remedies. As we discussed, I told you that 42nd amendment was there, many amendments are there, and now we are having 448 articles. And how the amendments can take place? Actually, it is our constitution has provided us the constitutional remedies, and the constitutional remedies gives the right to the executives, to the legislatures, that they can make some changes there, and that changes are known as what they are known as? They are known as amendments. So how many rights we are having? We are having 6 fundamental rights. They are right to equality, right to liberty, right to freedom of religion, right to cultural and educational right, against exploitation, and the of constitutional remedies.